You know I stand on business. Why you even letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting somebody play with me like that?
You already know that when you come to jail, everybody jealous of what you done had in your life. That's just part of the culture. Like, I wish I would have had.
I just want to say this. First and foremost, there's no shame, no embarrassment in getting packed out, getting beat up. As long as you fight, you're respected. Now,
Overnight timelines lit up with one wild claim. A judge just shocked everyone in King Harris's case after whispers he'd been caught in the wrong gang mess behind bars. We are not confirming this. What we're seeing is a rush of unverified reports, reaction clips, and frantic commentary pouring in from every corner of the internet. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the comment section split in seconds. Some voices say a quiet release or transfer was floated for safety, others insist it was courtroom strategy, a few hint at raw pressure behind the scenes. Inside the noise, a single thread keeps repeating. He begged to get out, again. That's the claim, not our conclusion. You know I stand on business, a clip allegedly shows him saying, before the tone switches to a shaky, low voice. Why you letting somebody play with me like that? Another voice snaps back. So what you want, freedom or a fight? The room goes silent, if you believe the captions. Tonight, we're following the rumors, the timeline, and the fallout. How did a tense jail confrontation turn into a supposed judge-side shocker? Why did family reactions resurface at the exact same moment? And if the chatter is even half true, is this a narrow escape, or the spark for an even bigger storm? Inside the courthouse that morning, the air felt heavy, almost rehearsed, until it wasn't. Cameras weren't rolling yet, but you could feel it, the kind of tension that hums before something unexpected. According to several online reports, King Harris entered the room quieter than usual, his shoulders lower, his eyes avoiding the crowd that had gathered more out of curiosity than support. Some say his family's representatives were already seated, their expressions locked somewhere between exhaustion and disbelief. The judge's tone, witnesses claim, was calm but unreadable. Every few seconds, you could hear the sound of clicking pens and whispered phone calls as reporters tried to make sense of what they were seeing. And then came the first twist, one that no one saw coming. Whispers rippled through the benches that there had been an incident inside the jail, something about King being placed with the wrong group, a mix-up that went from tense to dangerous overnight.
I don't have no gang. I ain't in no gang. I got family. I got motherfuckers who willing to risk their lives and freedom to die by me and mine. You hear me? Why don't f***ing play with me, man? Don't play with my motherfucking child, ever.
Why? No. King changed for other reasons and he ain't got good sense. You see what I'm saying?
Does that not give us a question?
Everybody know King ain't got, you know what I'm saying, he ain't got all his marbles.
I'm the only one on here who got bad-ass kids.
We all go through
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you ain't got no bad-ass kids, you got one and you got lucky. You hear me?
Yeah.
Anybody with three or more,
with multiples,
you got one that you don't know.
The details are fuzzy, and as of now, completely unverified, but what's spreading online is that King had been cornered after a heated argument in the block. One post claims he was forced to explain his background, another says he refused to pick sides between two rival crews. Either way, that moment allegedly ended with him begging for a move. Fans who followed his story from the start can't believe it. The same young man who once shouted about standing on business, now rumored to be pleading for safety. But if you listen closely to what the insiders are saying, it's not as simple as fear, it's exhaustion. He's been described as mentally done, tired of being tested, tired of the noise, and desperate to go home. One viral thread even paints the scene like a movie. It claims a gang leader, known only as Loco, approached King and said, "You ain't one of us, boy, and you never will be." The rumor goes that King tried to respond, tried to hold his ground, but when the laughter started, he froze. A nearby guard stepped in seconds later, ending what could have turned ugly. Within hours, those same whispers reached the courtroom, setting the stage for what the internet now calls the judge's shock. Reporters outside described sudden movement inside chambers, quick calls, rushed papers, and murmured phrases like transfer request, risk management, and urgent review. None of it was confirmed, but the energy shifted instantly. Meanwhile, T.I. and Tiny's name started trending again. Old clips resurfaced, Tiny joking that her son didn't have good sense, T.I. shaking his head in frustration. Fans dissected every frame, claiming these moments now made sense. Some said it was proof the family had seen this coming. Others argued it was unfair to judge a parent's pain through out-of-context videos. But that's the internet, the louder the rumor, the faster it spreads. By afternoon, the hashtag #FreakingHarrys was trending next to hashtag #WrongGangIncident, and reactions flooded in. One commenter wrote, "That boy learned the hard way that fame don't protect you in jail." Another replied, "It's sad, not funny. He's still a kid." The tone was split perfectly down the middle, empathy on one side, ridicule on the other.
I'm so puzzled why King feels the desire, need, want to be considered a street dude that badly. Why is he so obsessed with the struggle, with the life of being a street dude? Street dudes ain't really winning.
You wanted to go over there. You cried and cried and cried when you couldn't go over there.
We done got big house, big yard.
Inside the courtroom, as per what's being claimed, the judge paused longer than usual before speaking. King didn't look up. This young man's circumstances have become complex, the judge allegedly began, his voice echoing through the wooden panels. The gallery fell silent. Based on information received, and after reviewing safety protocols, I am considering options that prioritize welfare while maintaining accountability. It wasn't confirmation of release, not yet, but the implication was enough to spark chaos online. Blogs instantly misinterpreted it, headlines screaming, "King Harris to be released." Others countered with, "No, it's just a transfer hearing." No one knew what was real, but the buzz was unstoppable. Outside, camera crews crowded around every car window, hoping to catch a glimpse of T.I. or Tiny. A few shouted questions. Is he okay? Was there a fight? But no one responded. One journalist swore he saw Tiny wiping her eyes before being ushered into a black SUV. Another captured a moment that went viral. T.I. looking straight ahead, jaw tight, muttering something under his breath that lip readers online claimed was, "He gotta learn somehow." Again, nothing verified, but enough to feed the fire. As hours passed, more voices joined the conversation. Former inmates, online commentators, even podcasters started offering their takes. One ex-offender told a live stream audience that being in the wrong pod can change everything overnight. "You don't pick your battles in there," he said, "they pick you." His comments alone pulled thousands of viewers, each debating whether King's rumored plea was cowardice or survival instinct. "There's no shame in wanting out," one fan wrote. "If the system messed up, that's on them." Another comment fired back, "Nah, he made his bed acting tough. Now he gotta lay in it." The emotional tug-of-war kept escalating, and by nightfall, the story wasn't just about King anymore, it was about fame, fear, and the dangerous line between both worlds. Then came what social media dubbed the whisper clip, a blurry, 20-second audio uploaded by an anonymous account claiming to be from someone inside the courthouse. In it, a low voice, said to be King's, murmurs, "I can't stay in there, I can't, it's not safe." Another, older voice replies, "We're doing everything we can, but this ain't just up to us." The clip's authenticity is unknown, but within hours, it had millions of plays. Fans reposted it with captions like, "This don't sound like standing on business," while others begged for compassion, reminding everyone he's still human, still young, still learning. The story had become a perfect storm. A judge allegedly on the brink of an unprecedented decision, a family caught between pride and pain, and a public addicted to watching it unfold. Every new post added another layer of mystery. Did King actually beg for release, or was it all spin from online pages hungry for clicks? Was the judge's pause compassion, or just legal caution? The answers remained buried under speculation, but the momentum refused to slow. Each hour that passed felt like another heartbeat in a saga the whole city was watching, half fascinated, half horrified, as the Prince of Trap faced the one thing he couldn't control, the truth of who he really was behind those walls.
What you want to do? What you want to take pictures of me? From here?
Yeah, I'm from here. Yeah, I'm from here.
Alright, so. Oh, hell, y'all, let's go.
What's up with you, bro?
What's up with you, bro? Let's go. Putting your head around me, talking out your ass like you want to do something. What's up, bro? Oh, Lord. What's up, bro?
Nothing.
What? Relax or what?
Nothing.
Or what? Or what?
Nothing.
Or what? Because you just drive me like a roller.
This could be a good
Get about your business, my nigga. Get about your business.
Outside the courthouse, the sound of muffled shouting drifted down the steps, reporters calling names, fans holding phones high, flashes strobing through the crowd like lightning. Somewhere in that chaos, a single rumor began to take shape. The judge had ordered a temporary release pending investigation into the wrong gang placement. No papers confirmed it, no official spoke on record, but that didn't matter. Within minutes, it was everywhere. King Harris released, Judge Shock's courtroom, T.I.'s son begs for safety. And just like that, the story took on a life of its own. One source close to the family claimed the entire courtroom gasped when the announcement was read. Another said the decision wasn't freedom, it was protective custody disguised as leniency. Whatever the truth, the energy shifted instantly. Guards moved faster, journalists shouted louder, and King reportedly looked up for the first time all day. "Thank you, Your Honor," he whispered, his voice barely audible. A few said he looked relieved. Others claimed he looked broken. Either way, that brief moment became the clip of the day. The shot replayed across timelines with captions like, "He begged and they listened." As the crowd erupted outside, T.I. stayed silent. The few people close enough to see him said his face didn't move an inch. The man who once commanded every room now looked like he was holding something in, a mix of anger, disappointment, maybe even fear. Tiny, on the other hand, was visibly shaken. She clutched her phone, scrolling through headlines that twisted the story every which way. "They don't even know what's real," she said to someone off camera, her voice trembling, "they just want a show." Inside, an officer escorted King down the hallway, the echo of his footsteps following him like judgment itself. According to chatter online, he didn't walk out the front door. Instead, he was quietly led to a side exit and placed in a tinted van. One guard allegedly told reporters it was for his protection, but the internet spun it differently. "Secret release," one post read. "Backdoor deal," another claimed. Fan pages went wild, speculating that T.I. had pulled strings behind the scenes. Hashtags like #QuietDeal and #FreeZenoveTrap started trending alongside memes showing T.I. sitting in a judge's chair. The humor was sharp, the tone unforgiving, and yet people couldn't stop sharing.
Wrong. Behind steel bars.
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
Good job, brother.
Alright, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
But the biggest twist came hours later, when a live stream popped up featuring a man who claimed to be the same gang figure tied to the incident. His face was half covered, voice distorted, but his words cut deep. "Ain't no wrong gang," he said, "he was just wrong for the room." The comments section exploded. Some begged for proof, others accused him of clout chasing, but his next line silenced everyone. He cried, "Bro, straight up." Asked to move. Said he ain't safe. The stream ended abruptly, leaving the internet in chaos. Clips of the statement went viral within minutes, hitting millions of views before platforms even caught on. Reaction videos poured in, commentators analyzing every syllable, fans defending King, critics tearing him apart. One popular blogger said, "This isn't about toughness, it's about survival," while another coldly remarked, "You wanted the streets, now they're here." It was brutal, relentless, and impossible to escape. Even celebrities weighed in. A few rappers sent coded tweets, referencing loyalty and fear. Others posted cryptic emojis, a crown cracked in half, a chain broken. To the casual viewer, it looked like subtle support. To the insiders, it was a quiet warning. Meanwhile, back at the Harris home, insiders say tension filled every corner. Tiny reportedly refused to talk to the press, staying glued to her phone as updates poured in. T.I., pacing the living room, allegedly called multiple people in his circle. One witness claimed to hear him muttering, "He wanted the life, now he sees it." Friends tried to calm him, but the frustration was visible. One close associate told a gossip podcast, "It's hard for a father who's seen the streets for real to watch his son fake it and fail." That quote alone sparked another wave of headlines. The following morning, a blurry photo surfaced online showing a young man resembling King sitting in the back of a black SUV, head down, hoodie up. Some claimed it was old footage, others swore it was new. Either way, it became the image attached to every post about his release. Comments flooded in again. "He looks humbled," wrote one user. "Nah, he looks terrified," replied another. The internet had already chosen sides, even without knowing the facts. By midday, journalists started connecting dots that didn't even exist. One report claimed King's alleged plea for help had forced the judge's hand. Another insisted T.I. had called in a favor from an old contact in law enforcement. None of it verified, but the speculation was gold for clicks. Shows discussed it, bloggers dissected it, and fans debated it as if they'd been in the courtroom themselves. Was it justice, one headline asked, or just privilege? Amid all the noise, something strange happened. A short video surfaced from inside what looked like a holding area, grainy, shaky footage that appeared to show King sitting alone on a bench, hands clasped, staring at the floor. No sound, no context, just silence. People claimed it was proof he'd been moved to protective custody, others said it was staged. Regardless, the clip spread everywhere, fueling the drama further. It didn't matter that no one could verify a thing. The story had momentum, and truth had already taken a back seat. The next day, a fan compilation went viral, blending together King's old clips bragging about standing on business with the new rumor of his plea. Dramatic music played under slow-motion shots of his mugshot and the courtroom. The title card read, "The Fall of the Prince of Trap." Within hours, it had over 1 million views. The comments were savage. "Lesson learned," wrote one viewer. "Fake it long enough, and the streets will check you." Some defended him, calling the video exploitation, but even they couldn't stop watching. As all this unfolded, King's social media pages went dark. No posts, no stories, no statements. His last photo, showing him smirking in designer clothes, flooded with comments ranging from sympathy to scorn. One fan summed it up perfectly: "You can't flex fearlessness and then fold under pressure." But maybe that's what growth looks like. That line was shared so widely that even radio hosts quoted it the next morning. And just when it felt like the internet might finally move on, another leak hit. A supposed message from someone claiming to work inside the courthouse, saying the judge's decision wasn't about privilege, it was about danger. There was credible intel. The anonymous message read, "He wasn't supposed to be in that block at all." The post spread instantly, reframing the entire conversation. Maybe he hadn't begged out of weakness. Maybe he just wanted to survive. The shift in tone was immediate. Comments softened, debates reignited, and suddenly the same crowd that mocked him started asking, what if the system really messed up? The drama had officially crossed from gossip to moral debate. Was King a scared kid caught in a system too big for him, or just another influencer learning the hard way that the streets don't play pretend? Either way, his story had captured everyone's attention, and it wasn't slowing down anytime soon.
No motherfucking way. They got the wrong man, wrong guy. What the fuck is that? They got drones flying and shit.
And he told me that it was okay. So that's the only time. Any other time, I don't even call the police like for accidents. It ain't even no 911 call with my voice on it. Breaking my house,
I can't judge how the parenting is gone, because everything that we've seen has been stuff that many of us would have said or similar if we saw children.
Atlanta's skyline looked calmer than the night before, but online, the storm only grew louder. Every feed was a maze of conflicting headlines, some claiming King Harris had been released under supervision, others insisting he'd merely been moved to isolation. Still, the most viral version of the story was the one drenched in emotion, the idea that he had begged for freedom after being trapped in the wrong gang's territory. Fans couldn't look away. Every influencer, every reaction page, every gossip podcast had their take. One host said it best, "This ain't a news story anymore, this is a saga." By mid-afternoon, a new video surfaced from inside what appeared to be a courtroom hallway. It showed King walking with two officers, his wrists loose, not cuffed. His head was low, his hair messy, and he looked nothing like the loud kid who used to laugh on live streams. People zoomed in on the frame, studying every inch of his face for clues. One fan wrote, "That's the face of a boy who just saw real life." Another commenter argued, "Nah, that's guilt, not fear." The debate raged in real time, and every pause, every step he took became part of the narrative. Inside his circle, though, things were spiraling. A source close to T.I. described the atmosphere in their home as tense and distant. "It's not anger anymore," the source said, "it's disbelief. T.I.'s been quiet, but you can feel the weight." Another insider claimed Tiny had tried reaching out to her son through his lawyer but hadn't received a direct response. "He's shut down," she reportedly told friends. "He doesn't want to talk, doesn't want advice, he just wants it over." And yet, somewhere in the chaos, a small group of loyal fans began to flip the script. They flooded timelines with messages of support, tagging every major outlet they could find. "Don't believe every rumor," one post read. "Nobody knows what happened in that jail but him." Their voices started gaining traction, especially after a respected journalist dropped a subtle tweet, "Just spoke to a courthouse source. There's more to this than anyone saying." It was vague, but enough to reignite curiosity. A few hours later, that curiosity turned into shock when a supposed leaked report appeared online. The document, blurred and heavily watermarked, claimed to summarize a security review that labeled King's incarceration a placement error. According to the unverified report, he had been held in a section designated for high-risk inmates linked to rival groups. No official verification ever came, but the public latched on instantly. "So he wasn't scared," one fan tweeted, "he was set up." Others weren't buying it. "Come on," a critic replied, "you can't accidentally land in a rival gang unit unless you already running your mouth." The internet's hunger for drama didn't stop there. Reaction creators began remixing clips, building timelines that played out like mini-documentaries. They pieced together the viral whisper audio, courtroom footage, old family arguments, and even T.I.'s past interviews into one sprawling narrative, a father's prophecy come true. One of the most watched videos opened with T.I.'s voice from an old podcast, saying, "You want to go live that life? Be ready for what comes with it." The video cut straight to the judge's alleged release order and the caption, "And now he knows." The irony was painful, and addictively watchable. As the views climbed, the tone shifted from outrage to reflection. Podcasts debated the price of fame, how young influencers chase authenticity through pain. One host said, "This is what happens when you mistake struggle for style." Another added, "He ain't a bad kid, he's just lost between two worlds." That line hit home for many. Suddenly, King wasn't just the butt of memes, he was the poster child for a generation trying too hard to prove toughness online. Then, late that evening, a grainy clip began circulating on private message boards before spilling into public feeds. It appeared to show a dimly lit conversation, two men, their faces shadowed, one voice allegedly belonging to King himself. "They think I'm soft," he says quietly. "I just want to live. Bro, they don't care about my name in here." The other voice responds, "Ain't about names, it's about how you carry yourself." The clip cut off abruptly, leaving nothing but static. Within minutes, it hit millions of views and reignited the firestorm. Some called it a fake, others said it was proof of his breaking point. Either way, it deepened the narrative. The next morning, the story spilled onto talk shows. Hosts debated everything from parenting styles to celebrity privilege. One segment featured a panel of experts breaking down the psychology of fear behind bars, while another questioned whether the media had pushed King to his breaking point. The internet made him believe toughness equals respect, a journalist said, but reality just reminded him that survival comes first. Outside, paparazzi swarmed T.I.'s recording studio, hoping to catch a statement. When he finally appeared, wearing dark shades and a gray hoodie, the crowd erupted with questions. Did the judge release him? Was it your call? Is he safe? T.I. didn't answer. Instead, he looked up at the cameras and said softly, "Y'all forget he's human," then he walked back inside. That single sentence exploded across social media. Fans called it heartbreaking, critics called it calculated. One headline read, "T.I. breaks silence, calls out the internet for forgetting empathy." Another wrote, "Too little, too late." Meanwhile, Tiny was spotted leaving a counseling office, her expression tired. Gossip pages speculated she'd been advised to stay offline, to let the noise burn itself out. Still, she couldn't escape it. Every platform, every comment section, every trending page had her son's name plastered across it. Old family clips resurfaced again, the dinner arguments, the playful banter turned public humiliation. Now, instead of funny throwbacks, they felt like warnings ignored. Then came a new layer to the chaos. A supposed insider from the jail spoke to a local blog, claiming the story had been blown out of proportion. He wasn't begging, the anonymous voice said, he was asking for a move because of safety threats. That's protocol. It sounded plausible, maybe even reasonable, but by then the line between fact and fiction had already vanished. The world didn't want reason, they wanted a headline. And just when it seemed the noise might finally fade, a final twist hit. A photo allegedly showing King standing outside a government building surfaced online. His hands in his pockets, eyes hidden by a cap, a faint smile on his face. The caption read, "Freedom." It shot across every platform in seconds. Some said it was current, others swore it was from months ago. Regardless, it cemented the illusion that he was out, and people ran with it. "Judge really did it," one fan tweeted. "This story wild." By midnight, the entire internet had turned the rumor into reality. Every recap channel labeled it confirmed, every blog wrote about his release, and every reaction video ended with the same line, "He begged," and the judge listened. But through it all, no one, not the court, not the family, not King himself, said a word. Silence became the loudest headline of them all. The morning after the photo frenzy, Atlanta felt like a stage left littered with confetti after the final act. The internet had already crowned its verdict, King Harris was free. But in reality, or at least in the version whispered through online circles, nothing about this freedom felt victorious. Fans described his silence as eerie. For someone who once lived on live streams, shouting about loyalty and business, his disappearance felt louder than any post ever could. Every hour of quiet only deepened the mystery. Where was he? What did the judge really decide? And most importantly, what had actually happened behind those walls that made a 20-year-old prince of trap crumble in the first place? Rumors kept multiplying. One claimed he'd been moved to a private facility under supervision. Another swore he'd been spotted entering a rehabilitation center. A few even pushed the theory that T.I. had sent him away to get his head right. Nothing confirmed, but the hunger for answers was insatiable. Fans began to read meaning into every gesture, every song lyric T.I. posted, every glance Tiny gave when paparazzi cameras flashed in her direction. "The family looks broken," one tabloid wrote. Another countered, "They look relieved." Both articles used the same photo, T.I. staring into the distance, Tiny clutching a purse, no smiles, no peace. Meanwhile, King's name became an echo chamber for opinions. Podcasts and gossip panels debated whether his so-called release was earned or orchestrated. One host said, "You can't blame a kid for wanting out of danger." Another snapped back, "Danger? He made his own danger trying to be tough." A third chimed in, "The streets don't care who your daddy is," each sentence carved deeper into his public image. Fans commented things like, "He's humbled now," and "That's what fake confidence gets you." Others began defending him again, saying the culture eats its young, that the internet turns human mistakes into permanent scars. As for T.I., people close to him described a father torn between fury and pity. One source claimed he'd told his inner circle, "I taught him better. But I can't protect him from himself." Insiders said he'd stopped answering calls from blogs, ignoring every request for comment. "He feels like speaking will make it worse," said a family friend. Every word becomes a meme. Every sigh becomes a clip. Still, a small crowd of reporters kept showing up outside his studio. One caught a brief moment when T.I. paused, turned to the camera, and said quietly, "Maybe now he understands what real respect costs." It wasn't defiant, it was tired. That quote alone flooded social media with a new wave of interpretations. Tiny's reaction, however, hit differently. She posted a single story online, a black screen with white text reading, "Sometimes silence is the only protection we have," no name, no context, but everyone knew. Comments exploded. Fans called it a message of strength, critics said it was guilt disguised as grace. Whatever it was, it captured exactly how the family seemed to feel, drained, cornered, and unsure of what to say next. And then came the next twist, an unexpected interview with a man claiming to have shared the same cell block as King. He didn't show his face, but his words painted a vivid picture. "It wasn't like folks say," he began. "He wasn't crying, he was thinking. That boy realized the game ain't worth it. He told us, 'My daddy warned me, I just didn't listen.'" The host leaned forward, eyes wide. "So you're saying he admitted he was wrong?" The man nodded slowly. "Yeah. First time I seen him quiet," he said. "All that standing on business don't mean nothing if you ain't standing on peace." The clip spread like wildfire. Fans who had mocked him days earlier suddenly began posting messages of redemption. "He gets it now," one tweet read. Maybe this was his wake-up call. But not everyone believed the softer narrative. Skeptics accused the interviewee of chasing attention, while others claimed it was all a calculated rebrand to save face. One viral comment summed it up bitterly: "It's not redemption, it's damage control." And yet, buried beneath all the noise, a strange calm began to form. Maybe people were tired of mocking him. Maybe they'd finally remembered he was still just a kid living through a public nightmare. Whatever the reason, the conversation started shifting from laughter to reflection. Days passed with no official statement from the court, and the silence gave the story a haunting edge. Then, on a quiet Friday evening, a single post appeared on King's verified account. It wasn't a photo or a video, just a few lines of text against a gray background. "I made mistakes. I thought I knew what strength was. I was wrong. I'm learning what peace looks like now." No hashtags, no explanations. In under an hour, it hit 1 million likes. The comments were a mix of shock and support. "Growth," one fan wrote. "He's finally speaking his truth," another said. "This the first real thing he's ever said." Still, even this didn't stop the questions. Had the judge really granted a release, or was King still technically under supervision? Had the "wrong gang" story been exaggerated for headlines? Was this all just spin from a legal team desperate to protect a brand? Every theory lived online, none confirmed, all believable in their own way. But one thing was undeniable: the image of the fearless, reckless Prince of Trap had died. In its place stood a quieter, heavier version of King, still flawed, still uncertain, but human again. And that's where the story settled for now, between rumor and redemption. Reporters kept chasing leads, fans kept refreshing feeds, but no new footage surfaced. T.I. returned to the studio. Tiny disappeared from interviews. And King's social media went dark again. Maybe he'd been told to lay low. Maybe he finally wanted to. Either way, the silence felt intentional, like someone trying to rebuild from ashes without the world watching. As night fell over Atlanta, a final whisper trended through comment sections everywhere. The judge might have released him, but life's the real sentence. For once, the internet agreed. The memes slowed, the mockery dimmed, and a strange empathy took hold. The boy who once shouted about standing on business was now the face of what happens when business turns into survival. Fans didn't know if the story was over, but they knew one thing: it had changed him, and maybe it changed them too. Because behind every headline, every viral clip, every rumor, there's always a person trying to find their way out of a story they never meant to write. And that brings us to the biggest question still hanging in the air tonight: what really happened behind those courtroom doors? Was it a judge's act of mercy, a quiet legal maneuver, or simply a rumor gone viral that took on a life of its own? The truth, for now, is buried somewhere between whispers and screenshots, and until official records surface, all we have are reactions, theories, and a story that refuses to die down. What's certain is that King Harris's name has become a mirror for our culture, where fame, fear, and family collide under the harsh light of social media. One day you're untouchable, the next you're trending for the wrong reasons. Fans are still split. Some call this a humbling moment, others call it a setup, but everyone agrees it's one of the most unpredictable turns in recent memory. So what do you think really went down? Did the judge actually grant him release out of concern, or was this all smoke and mirrors built by online chaos? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think King Harris can bounce back from this and rebuild his image, or has the internet already written his final chapter? If you've been following this saga as closely as we have, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update as this story unfolds. Stay tuned, because in a world where rumors travel faster than truth, tomorrow's headlines might change everything again.